The Artemis crew is officially earthbound this morning after a historic day in space. They completed their record-breaking flyby of the far side of the moon, got to witness a solar eclipse from space, and even named some newly discovered craters. They also received a congratulatory phone call from President Trump.
So I just wanted, it's an honor to speak to you, and I wanted to congratulate each and every one of you. And tell me, what is the most unforgettable part of this really historic day? The whole world is watching and listening. Please tell me.
And we saw sights, Oriental sights that no human has ever seen before, not even in Apollo, and that was amazing for us.
Senior national correspondent Mark Strassmann joins us from outside NASA Mission Control at the Johnson Space Center in Houston this morning. I'm never going to get tired of talking to you about this. This is my favorite story. I'm so glad that we've gotten to do it for about a week here now. So what were some of those, or rather, we just received some new images from the mission. Bring us up to speed.
Yeah, we knew there were going to be some spectacular images that came back from space, Kelly. I mean, the crew apparently was supposed to take around 10,000 pictures, and here's two of the 10,000 anyway. So let's put up the first one here, and we're going to see just what the astronauts have seen. This is from the White House. This is Earthsat. So what you're looking at is the Earth slipping below the lunar horizon, and at that point, that is the point from last night when the crew would have lost line of sight with Earth, which would have meant that there would be no radio communications, and that's what began the 40 minutes of radio silence. But look at that image. That's all of us on the other side of the moon, slipping behind the moon, and I mean, when we get that as a full image, it's going to be even more special. But can we go to the second photo now, or because there were two that were released today? All right. This is the lunar eclipse, and so in reality, the sun is 400 times the diameter that the moon has. But in this picture, the moon is just big enough to eclipse the sun. And look at how bright the stars are behind both. I mean, it's just a stunning image. And I'm just wondering too, well, like, what other magical surprises do we have waiting for us when NASA releases even more of these photos? And what are the just wonders that the crew of Artemis II got to witness and experience in person? I mean, I don't know. I'm just fascinated by these pictures.
Oh, you and us both.
We are as well, and I mean, it is such a thrilling moment, and I don't want to get all philosophical about it, but you just think about the Apollo 11 mission and where we were as a country in 1969, when there was this idea that we were headed towards a utopian society, the age of Aquarius, all that 60s stuff. And here we are in 2026 doing something similar in terms of putting people in outer space further than humans have ever been. But the world is a very different place this morning. So it is remarkable.
The Cold War was going on, okay? Huh? I said the Cold War was also going on.
The Cold War was going
on,
but we weren't threatening to like wipe out civilizations. It was mutually assured destruction back then. No, Mark, it really is remarkable. I can't get enough of it. Astronauts were my earliest childhood heroes. Like Neil Armstrong I had a picture of Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on my wall, little a capsule on my like in my room, and so yeah, this is very cool for me. Yeah, very cool. Mark, you got to live it. You got to report on this. What about for you?
Yeah, I just, you know, I mean, I'm sort of a sucker for these photos in particular. I mean, and some of the images we've seen in the past from for instance, the Webb telescope. You can look so far back into the universe. They're almost like the baby pictures of the universe. And I mean, look at this. I mean, here you get the capsule, and you got the moon, and you got a sliver of the Earth behind us. I mean, it just completely reorients your perspective and makes you realize, you know, the wonders that are going on every day out in space that we cannot see and are getting our first glimpses of in many instances for the first time. And so it really is just an extraordinary moment. And again, when NASA dumps more of these photos, we're going to be in for some more, you know, wonderful surprises.
So definitely. Cool. All right, Mark Strassmann, thank you.
Thanks, Mark. So let's bring in retired NASA astronaut Dottie Metcalf-Lindenburger. Dottie, you heard us just waxing eloquent about how remarkable this is. You now know that astronauts were my personal heroes when I was a kid growing up, which means you are a hero of mine. You've told us there have been a few moments in this mission where you were holding your breath for the crew. What's been your reaction to what we just saw, the pictures that we just saw?
Well, I'm really glad you showed those because I was trying this morning to find some and I hadn't seen those new drops. So those are beautiful, magnificent, and again, words never put actually the trueness behind what they capture. So those are fantastic. And yes, like you, I had astronauts too that I admired and looked up to. And since I'm only 50, which makes me feel a little old, but I wasn't alive when the Apollo astronauts were landing on the moon or even traveling towards the moon. And so yesterday was amazing, and I kept the audio up and had a screen while I was working that was just dedicated to NASA TV and listening to the 4 astronauts, to Reed and Victor and Christina and Jeremy, describe the far side of the moon, which I loved hearing colors. They were blown away along the Terminator with the roughness. And if you've ever looked through a telescope at the Terminator on the near side of the moon, which I have because I own a telescope and I built it with my husband to use with my students when I taught high school. And it usually is where people are so fascinated because you get these shadows, you do see the roughness. But the far side is far rougher. And so to hear them describing that, and they were just startled and shocked. And again, I think this is that part of what makes it so important to have humans sharing the experience because we relate. We love getting those robotic missions. I totally agree with you about the Webb telescope. Amazing to look back so far in time and to think about the beginnings of the universe and things that we've never discovered before. So that's also amazing. But when you put humans in our own solar system, and this time going further than we've ever gone, it's just been incredible.
Yeah, I mean, there's also, in all of this Artemis news, which is momentous, there was also the news last week, Dottie, and maybe Kelly, you saw this, that the Voyager satellite has now gone past 1 light year. In other words, right, isn't that kind of cool to think about something that we built here?
It is, because it's one of the first things I remember learning about in a planetarium about the golden record. And it's what kind of got me started thinking about like why space is so fascinating. And so to think that it's that far, that's amazing.
It's so cool. Dottie Metcalf-Lindenburger, thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.